Wow!
Yeah, welcome to Guitar Paradiso, I think is what we were about to say.
That's what we were about to say, isn't it?
We were a bit loose on the intro jam there today, Pete, and I liked it.
It was a bit loose, but I feel that that's what fuzz pedals kind of do.
Fuzz pedals.
Fuzz. I can't say fuzz. Fuzz.
You have to say that Pete's English is better than my Danish.
Well, my French is worse than yours, though. As we proved earlier today, when Mick was singing a lovely French folk song about baguettes and vin rouge, or whatever it was. I don't know, but I was very impressed.
It was Serge Gainsbourg, but you know, another day for that. Another day. We're gonna hop on a plane from Paris and fly to the US. You see how these links are getting really smooth?
It's just so morning TV, like Sunday brunch or whatever time it is. Loose women.
Enough about the weekend. Yeah. So, all right, Morgan pedals then. So Joe Morgan.
Yes.
Morgan Amps, over the last few years, built an absolutely stellar reputation as an amp builder for the RCA 35, the SW22, is it? SW?
Are we talking about amps here?
Yeah. SW22, I think.
Yeah, SW22 and SW50 with the R as well, with the reverb, and the PR12.
PR12, which is what we've got here, which...
It's a 12 watt.
You're slightly in love with, aren't you?
Yeah, but I just think these amps sound great. You know, as you know, I'm kind of a Fender hot rod, sort of clean amp kind of guy, which then you can put pedals on top of it. It goes loud, clean, and then you put pedals on, and then you color your sound like that. Unless I'm in a studio where you've got time to set everything up and make sure it works, all the amps and old amps and sort of stuff like that. But I do like this amp. Rambling on, it is great. And there is actually, may I just add, a head version coming.
Oh, nice.
For Andertons.
Oh, exclusive to Andertons?
I think it is, yeah.
Oh, great. Good.
Which is I'm very excited about,
Be
because then you can
popular.
take it with you as well. Well, this is, anyway.
So,
Pedals.
So we know that George.
Hello. Hey, George, how are you?
Hey, George.
You all right?
Nice, good to see you, George. We know. Sorry, Joe. We know that Joe Morgan builds exceptional amps, and Pete and I and Dan Steinhardt met up with him at NAMM back in January, where he
16.
showed us these pedals.
Yeah.
Prototypes thereof. So we have. Well, you can hear them in a sec, but NKT 275 Germanium Fuzz. Now, for anyone particularly interested, that's the classic fuzz face. That's the first fuzz face. And those transistors are pretty hard to find. Joe says he's found some. So what you've got there is a really traditional, original fuzz face.
Yeah.
This is a silicon fuzz, so we'd move a little bit more forward there. In terms of Jimmy anyway, he would have started off with
Jimmy.
A Germanium fuzz, and then later on he started using more silicons, but he went backwards and forwards. So that's the silicon fuzz, and this is moving on again into in fuzz history, if you like, as the Mark II tone bender, which comes out of. So pretty much all fuzzes started their life off as the original Maestro fuzz tone, you know, the Satisfaction, and then people went in different directions from there. Over here in England, the tone bender kind of was the first one in '65. Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, lots of people have used it, and it changed. It started off as a 3 transistor design, then it became 2, then it became 3 again. The Mark II was a 3 classic. The classic Mark II was the 3 Germanium transistor fuzz. So the Mark II tone bender is what that is.
Yeah.
So original fuzz face, silicon fuzz, which actually doesn't sound particularly like a silicon fuzz face to me anyway, and then Mark II tone bender. And finally, an overdrive pedal. I'm not quite sure what's in here, but having had a listen to it, it doesn't sound op-amp based to me, because it's got this gain control feels like a bias pot on some kind of transistor.
Do you remember what he just said? It's like, you know, it's supposed to be one of these transparent, and he had all these words, but they couldn't fit that on here, so they just called it an overdrive.
They just called it an odd.
An odd. It's just odd. But that's great. You know, I do like fuzz, but I do also enjoy a nice, lovely, transparent overdrive.
The reason we haven't got them all plugged in a line is because some Germanium fuzzes can be funny about what goes ahead. We don't know if that's the case with these, but just to keep it simple, we'll always have the fuzz first in the chain, because then it's just getting hit by the guitar, which is kind of what should be happening with a fuzz.
Yeah.
Or indeed with vintage fuzzes. So
why don't you start? Because we got a Les Paul and we got a Strat.
Yeah, and the other amp
Classic.
we're using today.
Victory.
Victory.
Victory 44. It's late already, isn't it?
It is late.
Yeah.
Sheriff 44.
Sheriff 44. Sorry, I'm completely
plexi based. So we've got something broadly Fender based and something broadly Marshall
and it's just
based.
it's set fairly clean as well.
Let's hear it, Pete.
So you go.
Okay, so
into that.
No,
you are there.
No pedals. This is the Victory, is it?
Yeah. So I said fairly clean. That was completely wrong.
Not clean at all with the Les Paul. How does it sound with the Strat?
Let's see. A little bit spiky.
Yeah, it's the amp is pushing into compression because that's what we want. Because the other amp,
here, it's a PR12.
Sounds like this. So much cleaner.
Much cleaner. And you can hear immediately there the output of the Les Paul is much louder.
Yeah, and it's important to have, I think for the purposes of demonstration, it's important to have one amp that's drivey and one amp that's less drivey, just to give you an idea, because you're wanting to set your amps up the way you like them.
Yes, so.
Right, shall we start with...
so we get the overdrive?
Let's do the overdrive.
Yeah, so everything on 12, overdrive on. You can start on the Morgan amp with the Morgan.
Man, that's good.
That's nice, isn't it? And you can hear.
Yeah, I think it's biasing something.
It does sound like it, doesn't it?
Hit the Strat. Start in the middle again. I really like that. So the Morgan Spiel says it's like an extra channel for your amp. It's not supposed to colour the sound
Too much.
massively
Does
one way or the other. And
Yeah.
I think that's a great description of it.
Yeah.
Let's hear it into the victory then.
Victory. There you
Go
go.
on, you go first.
Okay.
Okay. Just playing.
What happens if I do that? You just want to leave it on all the time. You know what I mean? It's one of those pedals, isn't it?
So cool. It's got a bit of overdrive to it. It's got just the tiniest bit of treble booster to it. It just seems to have a lovely little rasp up top there.
Yeah.
By the way, we'll just say hello to the captain who's in Euro Disney. So we borrowed his guitars.
And we took your guitars.
Sorry.
We are looking after them really, really well.
While the captain's away, the shipmates will play.
Ahoy, matey.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, so from my end anyway, two unusual things about that. One, works with Les Paul and Strat.
Yep.
Two, works into Fender amp and into Marshall style amp.
Yep.
Fender style and Marshall style. You know, bearing in mind they were those traditional circuits. Definitely flabs out on the bass a bit with the Les Paul on the neck pickup.
Yeah.
But that in itself is a sound. You know, that's something that some people really like. That kind of real swampy Texas thing.
Yeah. Great.
Awesome.
Moving
nice.
on.
Okay, so
matches my shirt.
It does. I think we should start with you here, Peter.
Is that what it is?
Into the
Victoria.
So one interesting thing about a fuzz face type circuit is if you play some lead up by the 12th fret and then just knock the volume down just a tiny amount and play some rhythm.
So full up first.
Full up.
It's only 3 positions. Sorry.
Okay, so yes, nice and fuzzy. The point I was going to make was that sorry, the rather long-winded way of getting there, but one of the great things about vintage style fuzz, such as that, is if you just knock the volume back the tiniest amount, it will clean up.
Exactly.
Really, really nice.
And that's what I like about if I am looking for a fuzz pedal. You know, then you can roll off and it gets clean, so you can actually play, and then just use your volume on the guitar.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, let's move along. So while with the, in fact, just before we do me a favour, Pete.
Yeah.
Play the Strat into the Victory with these 2 pedals.
Okay.
It's a cool sound.
It's a great sound.
Loads of compression. Right, let's move along. So we're going to have to swap some out here. Okay, so as you can see, we've had a little switcheroo, and we've now got the silicon fuzz happily attached to the bit of blue tack underneath.
Yeah, so it doesn't slide off. Fuzz.
So let's go. Hey, what are we? We're into the Victory with the Les Paul. Wow. Okay.
Woo.
So much heavier sound, loads more bottom end, but unusual for a fuzz. You've got a tone knob.
Yeah, I'm looking at that and going, there's no volume on that. So which the other ones have.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's I don't know many pedals where there's no volume control on it.
Biggest problem with a lot of fuzz pedals. I say problem. One of the things about fuzz pedals is
Charm.
is the charm. Yes, idiosyncratic. No, sometimes they can just get very flubby, as you heard when we turned it on there, especially with the Les Paul.
Yeah.
So you can up the tone there, and
That's great.
it's spittier. It's not as smooth as the Germanium, I would say.
Yeah, I probably like that one a little bit better. But
Give it a whiz.
let's see. Ah. Not
Morgan?
bad at all. Good Morgan. I don't know what that was.
Tell you what's interesting.
Sorry.
What's interesting about that is it's something in the frequency of the fuzz was pushing the Victory much harder.
Yeah.
Because it's already overdriving.
Yeah.
So when it's going into a cleaner amp, it sounds different.
Which I got a feeling that I heard as soon as you clicked over to the PR12, I hear more of the clean tone through the fuzz.
Yeah, it's a completely different
So
thing.
it's a completely different thing.
That's a good sound.
It is a good sound.
That's a good sound, and quite different. It seems less compressed to me than the Germanium one.
Yeah, and I hear more clean through that signal.
Yeah. See, I thought
For
it
me.
was thicker and fatter when we started, but I think that's just the way it was reacting with the amp.
Yeah, I think so
Yeah,
too.
which is a great reminder. Pedals sound completely different through different amps. So.
Yeah.
Okay, should we move on?
Yes.
Are you happy to move on?
I'm happy.
So we're going to move into Tone Bender world, which was the more British end of end of it all.
Yes. think a filling just came out of my teeth.
Okay, so there were some really horrible sounds there, some disgusting sounds that we've never used. But really, in the interest of just pushing and pushing and pushing and see how badly we could make the amps crap out, which we did quite successfully.
That does a really good job of that.
Give it a whirl, Pete.
Yes, let's try it. So, okay. Something like that. What happened there? I don't know. It's like that. It's just my brain is just melting into the guitar with that sort of sound. Personally, for me, that's a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, well, Fuzz is definitely divided down.
Yes.
I mean, I guess they were all British in a way. The ones that became famous anyway, the silicone and the germanium, silicone and the germanium fuzz faces, and then the tone bender lineage, sort of two different strands of fuzz, all coming from that original Maestro fuzz tone.
Yeah.
Back in the day. So we've sort of gone off on a little bit of a tangent there, but it is interesting because it's like a micro history of fuzz in
That's funny, isn't it?
in three Morgan pedals, and I guess that explains why Joe has decided to pick those particular reference points there.
Great. They're all great. They all got their, I'm sure somebody's going to plug into that and just go, I absolutely love it,
I think it's really important with any fuzz for you to try, if you can, to get your guitar and your amp into the mix, because they do, as you heard, they react radically different depending on what you've got them plugged into. So
definitely.
But yeah, I mean, as examples of the breed.
Yeah, that's not that one.
I'd be very happy with any of those.
Yeah, me too. I'll probably skip that golden one, even though it looks cool.
Well,
Might be a little bit too much
a
for me.
fuzz.
Well, I've got a few fuzz pedals, and I use them on occasions when I have to have that tone.
Yeah.
And I'll stick them on a clean sound. We didn't try. Let me just quickly try to go to the Morgan with this setup here. That's very sharp and bright. Actually, then now I don't mind it as much.
Yeah.
It doesn't mess with the sound on top of the clean amp.
Completely amp dependent.
Yeah, and I know Joe makes some amazing amps that takes pedals really, really well. And I dig his stuff. I really do. I really think he does some great stuff. And he's a funny bloke. He's a funny dude, man. I enjoyed doing that video. Anyway.
Okay, so there we are. Morgan pedals. Links below.
Light.
Try them with your guitar and amp.
Exactly.
Okay, so that was Guitar Paradiso. I've been Mick.
And I was Pete. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Take care.